Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're looking at Psychonauts. This game came out in 2005, and here in 2021 we are just about to the point where they probably should be releasing Psychonauts 2. They did make a VR, middle advertisement, Psychonauts game, side quest type game, but that is probably not going to really play much into the story. I personally have never played Psychonauts before, so it now is definitely the time to play it. Notice here that if you let all the credits play on the title screen there, it eventually says, why aren't you pressing A? So we should just go ahead and do that. I will say on Steam that originally, until you make a save file, go into the options. This will just, the game will be just at a low resolution 4:3 ratio. Eventually, when you do make a save file, and that is not uncommon for a certain age of games, eventually you do get to a point where you can adjust it up to 1080p or wider, depending on what your settings allow, your video card allows. Everything here is checked on by default. So for the most part, with the only difference of the resolution, everything else is right. There's a tutorial that's going to pretty much adjust any keys or anything. I'll be using an Xbox One controller, so that should work fairly well, considering how this game was originally released on the Xbox. So that should work fine. There is one slight factor on the camera that it's kind of nice in this game to adjust sensitivity and dead zones. That's something a lot of games just don't have. And Windows itself doesn't really have a great way to increase the dead zone on a controller. I saw some people mentioning that the smart camera might mess up for some people. There definitely was one instance only, where this first brain area before you start the game actually was just spinning in circles because of a glitch, but it never happened again. Now there are subtitles, but I'm going to have them off for this first initial cutscene, which is frankly really long, and it is the thing that it jumps into by default when you are not when you don't have a save file. So here you have the main character, who we don't even know who it is, walking on a brain, and on the back side of the brain you have load a save game, continue, just wherever you last were, or start a new game. So we're going to start a new game, and we'll sit through the cutscene.
Human mind.
Like, the subtitles are too big, is the problem. They take up a quarter of the screen.
1,500 grams of complex neural matter. A 3-pound pile of dreams. But I'll tell you what it really is.
This is
the ultimate battlefield. And the ultimate
obviously a niche comedic game made by Double Fine. And in a lot of ways, it is one of 2 or 3 examples of where Double Fine is just not particularly successful at making sure games get made, and that games get made in a decent amount of time to a big enough audience to have Double Fine as a company grow. Now at this point, I guess that doesn't matter because Double Fine is now owned by Microsoft. But when you compare the very slow amount of time it took for Psychonauts 2 to get close to being released, that highlights a problem. When you look at how
The rest of you will die.
Brutal Legends was poorly received because of its gameplay mechanic, that's also
Children, you
a
are
major
not
factor. When
dying.
you look at
Well,
how Broken
you're not a
Age
Psychonaut, then you might as well
kind
be
of
dead.
didn't release
They
in a
told me
reasonable
this was
amount
a
of time.
summer camp.
Ah, Dogen. Don't worry about old Coach Oleander. I've been coming here for years, and trust me, nothing ever happens.
So you've got very weird looking
Dogen is
characters,
You don't
and
got
each one
nothing
of
to
them
worry about.
is
Except
supposed to
for
be
that giant monster in
like,
the lake I
potentially
was telling
psychic.
you about.
and they're gonna
I told you to stop
turn
scaring
into
people
kind of
with that
a
ridiculous old legend.
MK Ultra
I don't want
style
my kids to be afraid to go out at night
secret
and walk
agency
alone
of
on the perfectly safe
Psychonauts.
paths of Whispering Rock
Clearly
Psychic
that's a
Summer
pun
Camp.
name.
And we don't want to scare our special guests, superstar Psychonauts Sasha 9 and Mia Vodello.
So it's a lot for this cutscene. At this point, the cutscene should have ended and there should have been a tutorial mode
Resisting.
and a boss fight just to give us some action.
Bring it over here.
And then we could have jumped into a secondary cutscene.
What is it?
It's just a little boy. What's your name, darling?
I'll find out. Kid, get in!
So we're going to be introduced to the main protagonist,
My
who
name
Starts with a
apparently
D.
is Rasputin,
is really
but everybody calls
psychically
me
powerful for his age.
Raz.
Please don't kill us, lake monster!
Compelling.
Armored like a tank.
Sorry I'm late. I don't want to disrupt your briefing, Agent Oleander. Agents 9, Vodello, please, continue.
Where do you think you're going?
You've broken into a highly classified remote government training facility.
I know, isn't it great? Listen, why don't I just sit over here quietly with my fellow psychedets? Hey, how's it going? I like your
So
hat.
clearly
We
all
need
he
have
wants
this
to
young
do
man
is
taken from here immediately.
join this
I'll
summer
call his
camp.
parents.
What? But don't you train psychonauts here?
Yes, darling. But
To soar across the astral plane. To wage psychic warfare against the enemies of free thought.
That is what I wrote on the front of the pamphlet.
Those words are why I'm here, Coach Oleander. Do you remember what you wrote on the inside of that pamphlet? You were born with a special gift.
There's
but
way
the
too
people
much
around you
cutscene
treat
at
it
this
like a
point.
curse. Your
Like,
mother
we
is
don't need
afraid
the
of you,
backstory
and your father
of Raz
looks at you with shame.
in
His
this
eyes.
part.
Come to Whispering Rock Psychic Summer Camp, and you can show them all. Back home, your powers make you a loner, an outcast, a circus freak. But in this dojo, in this psychic dojo, they make you a hero.
Get that soldier a bunk.
And see, at that point the cutscene ends, but that's like
no, darling.
5-minute
You can stay here
cutscene.
for a few days
And then you
until your
just go
parents
to
come for you.
another
But we
cutscene.
can't let you participate in any paranormal training without your parents' consent. I'm sorry.
Like,
Wowie,
clearly you should
You're so
have
lucky.
some action
you
here.
get to go home soon.
It would have been
Home?
easy to just have
Back
Raz
there, I was just like you,
running
Dogen.
through the
Punished
forest,
by my own family for
sneaking
having
into the
powers
camp.
I never asked for.
And see, this girl looks like she's
Here.
gonna be your
I have a
female
chance
love
to be
interest
something, to make a
or
difference.
damsel in distress.
They may come for me, Dogen, but they'll be looking for Raz, the boy. What they're going to find, what they don't expect, is Raz, the Psychonaut.
And then you'll make their heads explode?
No. Do you do that?
No. Well, once kinda. But now I wear this special hat. Want to try it on?
No.
But he has mental defenses like I've never seen in someone so young. If I could just get him in my lab for some experiments,
And
I'm
so
sure he could
they're just
withstand more than the
espousing
others.
more character
Kid's
development.
1 in a million, 9.
Once again,
I'm not
it's
gonna
just
let
you
you
don't
turn him
need
into
this
one of your guinea
this
pigs.
much setup. It scares me
I got big
that this
plans
entire
for that
game
mind.
might be 80% cutscene. Okay. And so this is the point where you make a save file and you select a bunk, and you would think that that would have happened way quicker. And see, up above you have a character called Milo, I think, doing push-ups. Down below you have a kid crying, and over here you have, I think, Dugan was his name, and you can't really move the camera, so let's just go ahead and overwrite this, and we will, and then it asks you to type in a name. I will just go ahead and hit enter. Now, how you do this with a controller, I don't know. I would say technically that means this game has partial controller support. But yeah, no reason to not go with the default. And I imagine that means there's like 3 animations of him falling asleep on different bunks, which there really no need for that.
In my classroom at 0600 hours on the dot. I'm the early bird, and you're the worms. Got it? Now, lights out!
Once again, we're at a cutscene. It's just a slow setup, certainly. Now, Psychonauts originally was
Okay, quick eye exam before we start.
owned by Majesco's,
Look over that
who
way, if
had
you
the
will.
publishing rights. I guess it was owned by
No, that way.
like Majesco, so maybe Double Fine had to wait a long
Look
time
over
to get the rights back. So they wanted to see
Over there.
on the right stick or the mouse, are you going to use inverted controls or not? So this is
Clock's a ticking,
this
sonny.
old-fashioned system to test just how you naturally would
way.
look in a direction. Now, what's weird is it
Look over
says
there.
right stick, but it's very easy in my
Over
mind
there.
to think of using the left stick.
Wow, what's that?
Oh, that's a psi challenge marker. The staff scatters these all over the camp to test the students. Every one of these you find advances you a whole rank.
Huh.
Now look up for me if you will.
So they're also tutorializing some of the items here.
Up there.
This is also a 3D platformer, perhaps one of
Come
the last
Some of
3D
the old markers are
platformers.
falling apart. You'll find bits of them flapping around loose. If you find enough of these psi cards, you can put them together to make a brand new challenge marker. But you have to buy a psi core at the camp store to hold them together. Keep ranking up, and before you know it, you'll be able to use brand new
So,
psychic
yeah.
powers. Stuff you didn't even know you could do.
And
And then when
knowing
do I become a
nothing
psychonaut?
about
Because
this
I have to
game,
do that before my dad
I have
shows
to
up take me home.
assume that there is just some evil psychic psychonaut that's going to attack the camp and cause you to go on an adventure and not just get picked up by your parents. The irony joke here almost certainly would be that the parents would just kind of refuse to pick up their kid, which kind of happens more than you would think. There's a decent number of kids that say they want to go home and call their parents at summer camps in the real world, and the parents are just like, nope, we paid for it all, you're gonna stay. Let's see, to change your camera preferences, press the start button. This does have modern button prompts, and open your journal and then select the options pages from the first page. So you now have to press B to exit, which is very weird that you wouldn't just be able to hit A to continue. Like, so we could now do this and see, do we really need tutorials telling us how to use the keyboard, left stick, or mouse to navigate the journal? Now, at this point, I think I will just leave the subtitles off until we actually jump into a game. And see, the options menu just pops up over another menu. On this page, you'll see what you've collected in the current area. Make sure you come back here after you've collected some figments so you can lock them up with the figment viewer option. So we know in the area there's one side challenge marker and 12 side cards and 2 other collectibles in the kids' cabins. Oddly, the right bump and left bump does not move you around, but the left stick does. This page shows you how you're doing in the bigger scheme of things. Also, once you get your scavenger hunt list, this is where you'll keep it. So overall, there's a Psy Cadet rank of 100. There are 19 vaults. There's some number of arrowheads, seemingly no set max number. There's 50 emotional baggages. You certainly could make a game around this theme and it could get very deep very fast. So I definitely understand how they would want to lean more to the comedy. Most Double Fine games wants to lean more to the comedy, and sometimes it works for some people, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. And then we'll be collecting side cards, cobwebs, and side cores, and one other item. This page automatically remembers what tasks you're working on. If you're ever unsure what to do next, come back here to jog your memory. Which, okay. We're going to be doing another tutorial obstacle course, apparently. Once you've cracked open the memory vault, you'll store the memories you find in here. I imagine the memory vaults are when you beat bosses, and that probably means there are 16 bosses in total in the game. Come back here to watch them as many times as you like. There is a game called Remember Me, where you manipulated and rewrote the memories of characters. Unfortunately, you only do it like 2 or 3 times in the entire game, and it is nowhere as interesting as it sold itself. On top of that, Remember Me had a very odd combo dependent fighting system where you literally could not do damage unless you locked in a 3 or 4 hit combo. This handy map shows you the layout of the camp. Your position is marked with a triangle. The next place you should go is marked with a crosshair. If you ever feel like you don't know where to go, come back and check out your map. This is just a lot of setup. And apparently right now we can't really navigate. Well, actually the controls are inverted. I have to press up to go down. In the menu. Interesting. Was there an option around the controls to invert them on the map? Camera, invert first person, invert camera horizontal. I don't even know why that would be enabled. Let's see, we may come back here and have to change that, but let's leave it and just see how that turns out when we actually get to the game. Like, just a lot of setup here. A lot, certainly, that can be done. And this map, unless it expands even bigger, which it probably does out of this area, seems to be fairly small at the moment. But big enough, like, it probably is closer to a Banjo-Kazooie type open world 3D game than a Mario 64 type 3D open world game, in which Mario 64 had relatively small boxy areas that didn't really interconnect for each level, and there was many different instances of those areas, whereas after Mario 64 everybody tried to have more connected, consistent open worlds.
Hurry up! You don't want to be late for basic braining! Woohoo!
You can just see that the characters are glitching completely. Like just glitching into the area. We have a psychic fist attack from the looks of it, and we have a jump attack. It is kind of floaty in that you kind of just float up. There's clearly something in here. Let's see, we have what looks like a right trigger that doesn't seem to do anything, but the left trigger seems to have us turn around. Right bump and left bump seems to do nothing. So I really have to question why. Found your first arrowheads. Arrowheads are made of titanium, a rare psychoreactive material, which makes them very valuable. You can use arrowheads to buy items in the camp store and other places you find. Okay, good to know. So their currency. There is a problem. Like, Psychonauts 2 basically has to be called Psychonauts 2, but the phrase psycho is not really acceptable to use in 2021, so, like, I don't know how you spin off the game series so that you don't have to make a Psychonauts 3 if you're going to try and make a trilogy. I would almost hope that when they do finally release Psychonauts 2, it's something like Psychonauts 2, Razputin's Revenge, or Raz's Radical Adventure, or Raz's Adventure, something like that. That way you can make a third game, have Psychonauts 3 potentially be the subtitle, so you would have like Raz's Reputation, or some third game series, Raz's Adventure 2, Psychonauts, Psychonauts 3. Congratulations, you found a loose Psy card. Collect 9 of these and you can build a Psy challenge marker out of them. But you'll need to get a Psy core from the camp store and a little help from Ford Crawler. Alright. It feels like it's fairly slow.
Dating Elka now. Does that mean we won't hang out as much?
Shoot, I reckon things ain't gonna change one bit. Doggone it, partner. No woman's never gonna...
Hey, you're gonna make my boyfriend late for class. Come on, James. Come on.
So, yeah, there seems to like there's gonna be some story and romance that also happens, and I don't know if that means if I had just run to the basic training, would I have missed that scene, or would the coach then have told me to go find everybody? Clearly at some point I'm going to have an ability to jump higher, or get higher, maybe not by jumping. I look forward to a generation in which these polygonal games are forward compatible with some new technology so that they use less they use less and less constrained technology, so that once you get a new video card, it can just automatically scale the polygons down and create more polygons. There is a technology called scalable vector graphics, and while that is for really 3D graphics, SVGs are for basically 2D graphics. There's needs to be
Polarisma Australis.
So, like, ideally you would want something like that where you wouldn't even really need to put a mod in or put a patch in for games to just automatically upscale to using more polygons. We can jump down here and
Oh, that's got to be the worst fan name I have ever heard in the history of all time.
so let's
And
talk to
by
girls,
worst,
I guess.
Did you possibly mean the best? Because that.
Which
Whispering Rockers.
Oh, what?
That's my band name idea. Why aren't you guys in Coach Oleander's class?
Are you kidding? A kid got killed in that class last year.
I heard it was a bunch of kids, Phoebe.
Well, I heard it was a bunch of blind kids and the coach threw them off a cliff.
Yeah, because they were late for class.
You'd better hurry, kid. Now, where were we, Quinn? No, I meant worse, as in I can't
So-
believe we're friends, it's so bad.
Look deeply
Yeah.
into your heart, Phoebe. And
Yeah,
I
there's
think
conversations.
you believe the Levitators is pretty much the dopest name a band could ever have.
So yeah, it does seem like you're going to be able to talk to people.
I'm telling you for the last time, no.
So the squirrels
I
are
would
talking
never
to.
do that. I could never kill everyone. Oh, hi, Raz.
And see.
Trouble?
See,
The
clearly
lie
he's
is a
crazy.
lie. Whatever they tell you, it's a lie.
I'll take your word for it. You going to class?
Yeah, I'll meet you up there. As soon as I get these guys to shut up.
Okay. Did he just kill them with his brain? I have no idea what the deal about that was. Oh, he did explode them with his brain. Alright, so what we should experiment with here, since we kind of know we're not going to have a conversation with this, and see, when you get to this menu, you cannot use the controller at all. Let's turn on the subtitles and see what it looks like here. Now, this might be in part my fault because I've high resolution dots per inch adjusted on my screen, so it might be accidentally scaling the subtitles bigger than they're supposed to be, but honestly I think this is just a case of this game was developed to be played on TVs, and when games are developed to play on TVs, the text has to be bigger than what it would be on a computer monitor, which shouldn't be really a problem for me because I'm still looking at a TV that is 10 feet across the room when I play games, so even in that scenario, the subtitle is too big.
What happened to the squirrels?
They lied. They lied. And then they left.
Yeah, and that subtitle is fine. Perfectly fine, except for in the cutscenes. And I want the subtitles on, so I guess the question is, are we going to see any more subtitles? Interesting, you can't walk under this. Like normally nowadays, you could easily walk under a trampoline or whatever it was. Here we can see a character that just disappears when we chase that. And we can see that there will be collectibles.
I would like to speak to whatever cosmic entity has been sending these voices to my head since I was a kid.
Alright. So if we jump, we can get up there. Should be able to balance on tight ropes like this. And use the left stick to swing, and then when you get enough momentum, you can then jump. And then surface is covered with nets. Clear you, and then you can jump over this way. And he has this sliding ability, obviously, which he kind of has like Heelys or something. And then where are we going? This way. Seriously? We may be getting too far ahead.
Looks like it's completely frozen in a big block of ice. Frozen solid.
Alright, so something's frozen solid. We're gonna need some assistance to get out of that block of ice. And I can see some wonkiness, and I would like to see the heads-up display kind of disappear too. Well, oddly, I just did a double jump. When was I supposed to learn that I could do that? Let's see. Is there anything over here? Nope. This feels fairly laid back at the moment. Let's see, there's some kind of rock you can hit and bounce around. Although I'm not sure why. And see, I may now just be in a completely different area and I'm just goofing off. Looking for collectibles. Alright, so I can get up to higher areas. I don't know if that's possibly because I've already lined up some things or what. Also, it seems like these arrowheads are respawning, so I may be very well suited as far as currency. There's nothing different in this bunk. Clearly we still need to figure out a way to get where we need to go. The subtitle playing a little too early there.
I am receiving your messages, but they're too faint to make out.
I could certainly see a weirdness aspect to this that might be a little off-putting to some. Certainly, if you're not into the Double Fine thing, this basically establishes the whole Double Fine brand. And now enough side cards. After class, of course. So they are trying to push me to go to class, and like mini games, there's a angle at which you just slide. So I think we can talk to this character.
Seen bear lurking in woods?
Nope.
Positive. Giant, hairless bear?
Nope.
In Russia, bears much smaller. Also more hair. Less lurking. Always eager to wrestle. This one, hide and run.
I'll let you know if I see anything.
Cannot lurk forever, bear.
Certainly playing a stereotype, and there is some weirdness certainly around having a stereotypical Russian parody character look like a green alien, and having all the characters look like green aliens, and then transferring it to stereotypes. I think these crates probably open up.
Nah. The rest of camp is off limits until you have a basic braining merit badge. Now get!
So the game will not let us go any further at all. There clearly is some kind of like psychic ability.
You know that cabin is empty, right?
Duh. I'm practicing for tonight, when it's gonna be full of ladies.
That kind of thing takes practice?
Excuse me, but my parents let me watch R-rated movies, so I think I know a little bit more about this than you do, okay?
Interesting how the subtitles just scroll down. Yeah. And like a reference to Porky's, the movie Porky's, is gonna fly over the head of a lot of people, particularly the age range at which I would think that this game should be targeted to. This is really for kids that would go to summer camp, so you're talking, I think, probably somewhere around 12 to 14-year-old, 15, 16-year-olds. Porky's is not going to be in their lexicon, nor is it proper or wise to teach kids about peeping on girls or peeping on boys even. That's no way that has never once led to a healthy relationship by violating people's privacy. So I guess we go up here, and it may very well tell us that we've already collected everything we needed to collect and that the game really was going to just have us do what we just did.
Hey, where you going, Maloof?
Shh! I snuck out! That class is a death trap for crazy people! Listen, the coach is strong. At the start of class, he pulls you into his mind, and then there's nothing you can do about it. But once you're in, you can use these smelling salts to sneak out. Take mine. I don't need them anymore. I'm calling my parents to come get me before I get hurt.
Too late!
Interesting.
Mommy! Ah! Hey, kid! You owe me 5 arrowheads for this week's protection service.
Cough
Yep.
it up, Mom.
A lot of these characters are probably references to a lot of like
I heard a rumor you were raised in
old
the
movies.
Well, let me put this in terms you'll understand. I'm the strong man around here.
Really? Because you look more like the cotton candy.
Benny, put this kid's death on my to-do list.
Come on, we'll see him in class.
Yeah, we'll settle this on the battlefield.
Your journal is a great place to see what you've done so far and plan what you're going to do next. You can use it to save and load your progress, change your options, and there's a helpful map in the back. Press the start button to open your journal. And see, once again, it would make a lot more sense that it would have just forced me to press the start button at that point. Yeah, there is something weird that the map is just inverted. It doesn't make any sense at all. I'm having to press up to go down, whereas it would make a lot more sense that it wouldn't do that. So let's see. Options, controls, having to do all this setup at the beginning. And then there's way too many cutscenes already. Invert the camera horizontal, but yes, do invert in first person. And let's see what that feels like. Come on, go back. Didn't seem like it did anything. It's still inverted. When I look up, I'm looking up. When I'm looking down, I'm looking down still. Did those settings not apply? Invert in first person. and invert. And this, maybe none of these do anything at all. Why are we even going the first person in the game is a good question to ask. Nothing's changed there. Nothing's changed there. So seemingly neither one of those options change. Maybe you have to reboot the game and it's just not telling you that. Like clearly a bit more of a remaster would be useful here. Yeah, the only other thing I could think would be to de-invert everything. When this game was re-released on Steam by Double Fine, it was released clearly to just get more sales. That still hasn't changed. And that still hasn't changed. Interesting. Well, I guess I'll just leave it where it is and we'll see. We can go ahead and make a save file. 18 minutes into the game, and it's taken me 3 times that long, really. That really goes to show how setup and cutscenes can really kill you on the game, and a slow start can kill you on the game. But yeah, it would totally make a lot of sense to backport the more modern models of Psychonauts and have a remastered version re-released and adjust the settings. Left. Well, nope, that is why that's not working, isn't it? I've been inverting the wrong thing. Okay, well, so that was inverted. So then that means this whole thing is wasteless, is pointless. Invert camera horizontal. It's not what I want. If anything, if anything was going to work, it would probably be something like that, where inverting the vertical makes sense. Nope, still doesn't change anything. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, now when I look up, it looks up. Now when I look down, it looks down. Honestly, I'm not sure if I don't play some games where it's inverted and some games where it isn't, because it's such a subconscious thing where just half a second of looking up and the camera going the other way, I just imagine I just lock into however it works. So yeah, a lot of messing with the settings there to do basically nothing. Is there any other thing to do? No, so we just then I guess start talking to people.
Seen all be in a trance while they astrally project themselves into the coach's psyche, which is awesome. They seen all be in a trance while they astrally project themselves into the coach's psyche, which is awesome.
So they're just going to all do this. They're establishing a decent amount of things, of characters.
Why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer.
Whoops. Sorry.
So, like, she's the only character that clearly matters. Okay. This is the guy trying to
Hey, Chloe, what are you doing?
The coach
communicate.
uses this to broadcast his thoughts across the camp. I think I can tune it to reach my people in space.
So Chloe is a named character. And yeah, it ideally you would want a long-running game here where you get to know all these characters. It would be weird if they started to introduce a whole bunch more characters. They could do that in the sequel, I suppose. Like, the long release time between Psychonauts 1 and potentially whenever Psychonauts 2 actually gets released would confuse the issue, certainly if Psychonauts 2 takes place the next year at summer camp. Now remember, they said he could not participate, so will the guy?
I'm reporting for basic brain.
We'll see what he does.
Son, do you realize that to take my course, I will have to pull you into my mind, and you will have to relive every bullet-scarred memory of every battle I have ever faced. It won't be pretty. Are you sure you wouldn't rather run around a bit more in the sunshine first?
Yeah, I don't see there, like, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to run around anymore. And I'm questioning heavily why you would even need to do that.
I'm ready, sir.
Like,
Well then,
even if I miss collectibles, I think I'm going to come back to
you're
this.
late, soldier. Now get in here and give me 20.
And so notice he has this door on his head. I don't know if all the characters have doors on their heads or just some.
So, this is it.
And this is where the cutscenes and the subtitles are a little too big.
Office.
A mental dentist office.
It's a recruiting office, kids, and I'm here to recruit you for the greatest job in the world, being a psychonaut. It's about
So once again, we have a cutscene, and we'll have to see how long this is.
torture, insanity, and death, because this is your last chance to chicken out.
Oh, me, sir. I'd like to chicken out, please.
Too late, soldier.
But you said...
There's only one way out of here. Fighting. I want one of you chickens to sock me square in the jaw. I warn you, once you do, the war is on.
Yeah, just biting him. Biting the guy, I guess. Press X to punch him in the face.
You gonna punch him?
No way! You do it!
Interesting.
Right on the chin.
See. And I was gonna get first person
Come on, let's go.
by clicking the right stick.
Come on.
We can look a little bit more.
Get another chance like this, I guarantee it.
And as far as first person, I'm looking up to look down, looking down to look down, looking up to look up, looking left and right. So that all seems like fine.
No! Pick on someone your own size, or bigger, like me.
So we can smack him.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about.
And that knocks down the wall.
Go, go, go!
And we almost have to assume he's just gonna get blown up by a landmine.
What kind of obstacle course is this? That kid just got killed.
A mental obstacle course, you bleeding heart. He's not dead. His astral projection just got kicked out of my mind. And I'll kick your astral projection out of here too if you don't get moving right now.
Yeah. When you have cussing like that, I kind of have to question: is there what the real just absorbs positive mental health? Maintaining your mental health is important because if you run out of it, you won't be able to maintain your astral projection in his mind, and you'll be kicked out into the real world. I don't know what the target audience here is. This is animated like it should be for. That it should be for 14, 15-year-olds, and yet it references things that would make a lot more sense if it was for 25-year-olds, honestly. See, I don't know if they intentionally wanted me to fail there, or if they just never expected anybody to fail there. Right, so you do have a ledge grab, but only on the back way. The problem I'm immediately feeling here is that there is a bit of a delay to the jump, so I just don't feel like I'm directly in control. Like, yeah, and these definitely feel like very wide gaps, and it definitely feels like if I fell down that that hole may have killed you.
Relax, that's just a figment of my imagination. You can run right through Pigments. They help you rank up, and when you rank up, you earn new psychic powers.
The music, I will say, on this game is too loud. Let's adjust that. This whole game also had first figment, collect 100 figment points and you'll be promoted. If you get promoted to a high enough rank, you'll earn new psychic abilities. You can look at all figments you've collected in the journal. Interesting. So we should probably look at that. Do we have anything else that's being highlighted at the moment? No map here. Where are the figments of imagination shown? Oh, you have to come over here, then you have to press A. And then there are 73 figments. And then, yeah, you have to use left trigger and right trigger to reach it. But also I wanted to adjust this. Like, yeah, the audio in this game was already very loud. Like, by default, I have most games set to 10% anyways. And I had to go down to like 3%. So, pretty quiet even at that. And even at that, I feel like the music volume is just too high. So we're going to adjust that. I also would like to see if perhaps there was some heads-up display options where we could turn off some controls or something. Show goal pop-up, smart camera, altitude dampening. Let's see. Show go let's turn that off and see what that does. That might be tutorials, frankly. What it didn't turn off though is the right stick, right and left bump problems. Which, sure, we may get at this point. We may get abilities that get set to those controllers at some point.
Could be anywhere.
Okay.
I need the steamer trunk tag for this guy.
Okay. So we need to find a steamer trunk tag, which I think is probably that.
There it is. Now, you will pick up that tag and you will put it on that bag you just found. Unless you'd rather just drop and give me 20 right now.
All the other heads-up display just kind of pops up and then goes away, so it's weird to have permanent heads-up display. And that's certainly something they could have adjusted. Now, I don't feel like, and once again the game is really asking you just to go back to this menu. I don't feel like you can do anything or look at the emotional baggage. And it looks like emotional baggage will always be a kind of bag with a kind of baggage tag on it.
Dead.
Why would there be an area over here extra? Or an area over there extra? Like, it feels like I could jump over there, but honestly, last thing I want to die. I want to accidentally die in the tutorial section, looking for potentially new collectibles. And because the figments are different colors, it feels like there's a lot of possibility here for mistakes or missing content. This definitely feels like this is going to be more of a collectathon than I would have first suspected. Which I guess is fine, because I don't really need yet another game where it's just an infinite spawning amount of the same 5 villains that I have to potentially beat up a million times over. Some of these figments kind of floating on the rope.
Watch out! Fire down below!
I assume that we might find that this guy has never actually been in the military and he's just a wannabe. That would be funny, at least. Oh, I definitely see some collectibles over there, that way.
We can't get past this. This is stupid.
Looks like a test. There's probably a secret, more advanced route.
What's that supposed to mean? You think you're more advanced than me, new kid?
Sorry, what?
I'm not
This guy's gonna
stupid.
be
You're stupid. The
annoying
coach is stupid. The whole camp is stupid.
if we don't,
Thing flying at
if we have to deal with him for a lot of time.
Bobby Zeltz's foot, that's what! You stupid new kid! Yeah!
And see, his name is Bobby Zilch and he has a 0.
Oh.
We're back to just another cutscene.
Actually, I was saving this plant.
Never seen one so meaty before.
I have. It's been appearing in this creepy nightmare I keep having.
You're having nightmares? Oh, I've been reading about how to fix those. Will you let me see one?
No.
Now there is, I suppose, a question as to just how are these Psychonauts' abilities as far as how they depict themselves. Oops. I don't think I was ready to go down there.
Less waiting, more motivating!
What does that say? Classified route. Alright. So, it might very well be a case that she sees the future and thus you have to she can foretell things. Interesting. Well, how can I collect everything, every figment, if there are multiple routes? That's gonna be weird. No fall damage.
Come on, one nightmare.
Nope.
Dang, my
Alright, well,
bowels move more than you do, Pokey!
let's go down this classified route and see what this has to offer for us. So far, at least in this area, in this first little tutorial area, it is mostly a simplistic platforming game with no enemies. Some of these angles are going to be a little weird. I am pretty much being forced to manually control all the jumping and such. So whatever the smart camera is supposed to be doing doesn't seem like it's really doing much. Let's see. Is there something more down that direction? Yeah, it does seem like what they've got here is a genuine desire
You'll have plenty of time to stand around when
make
you're
you
dead.
go both ways. So it's not worth my effort to do the whole jump puzzle there. And I would have a hard time really believing it's worth your effort to even do this level more than once. So
It's game day, kid.
now is not really the good time to throw split pass into the ring. Okay. Well, I missed that one. So my question is any of this gas really hurting me? Okay, we've ranked up once. Do I die immediately? We might be helpful to save. Here. And see, we're like an hour into gameplay, and we've only actually been playing for 30 minutes according to the old save file. So you kind of have to be in a corner, I guess. That's what you want to do. And I think it's probably the other platform I need to be back on. There we go. They made a real artistic mistake here, having green smoke if the green smoke is not poisonous, because to me and to most gamers, I think that screams poison. And let's see, I don't think you can just stand here and wait until there's an explosion. There is certainly something to this idea, though, that to make a game where it is figments of imagination and thus it's just flat art to touch as a collectible, at a certain level you're overpaying artists, and I think arguably Double Fine does overpay a lot of artists.
Is your name Joey?
No.
Because I'm gonna call you Slowy Joey.
That's not my name.
What was that, Slowy? I can't hear ya. You're talking too slow.
Yeah, there needs to be a real conversation around bullying by teachers and other peers. And peers, which are teachers aren't peers, obviously. Yeah, when you see how Jack Black was in Brutal Legend, like, his presence in the game as a voice actor probably blew a lot of the budget. I feel like a lot of the the art figments of imagination could easily have been the same thing repeated multiple times, and some of them probably are repeated, but I know I just complained about standard games that have enemies that are just the same character over and over again, that you have to beat up and punch, but honestly I could do with some of those characters. It's like there's really no reason to even be breaking skulls and collecting health right now because nothing is attacking you, and there's no difficulty setting in this game, so it's not like I'm playing on easy or anything. But yeah,
Less waiting, more motivating.
it does feel like there's just a little too much variety in these figments, and almost certainly all these figments are kind of unique to this one mental scape, so the mind of this character, and I don't know how many times we're going to end up in Coach Oleander's mind. I would think it would make sense that something would happen to him and you would have to go into his mind multiple times. And then we have questionable wonkiness with platforming and jumping on tents. It seems like I just clipped through one to go up higher.
Dang, my bowels move more than you do, Pokey.
And then there's a lot of cutscenes as far as videos on walls here
Now that kind of wall you can climb
could
it up, down, sideways, whatever way you
could have
want.
just had
get
more
on it.
talk and less visuals there.
Quick, like a monkey.
And certainly
You're
there's
like molasses going uphill in January with crutches.
there is a thought certainly around potentially this game maybe being shorter than it could have been.
Slow down, kid. If you pass me or Bobby, you'll make us look silly, and Bobby will pound you down. Bobby, can you hear me? Where are you? Don't leave me alone out here, Bobby. I'm frightened. I'm frightened.
Dang, my bowels move more than you do, Pokey.
So because the guy got frightened, he gets kicked out. So this really is just a challenge of fear control. And in a funny way, you could accidentally, unintentionally have a allegory here of the Psychonauts camp actually being a special needs camp for the emotionally disturbed children. That you already are writing the characters as psychic freaks, for lack of a better term, and you're playing it off mostly with comedy, but as you try to write the characters to be more lovable and relatable, then they are going to have to lean towards being also somewhat emotionally damaged.
Hey, Dogen, what's wrong?
I keep blowing up.
Move, move, move!
So we can say, follow me, I'll help you through the mines. Well, good luck with that. Bye. We should be nice to Dogen. I don't see any reason not to.
Follow me. I'll help you through the mines.
Okay.
Okay. Well, assuming that the mines are
Onward and
I
upward,
can't
soldier.
do it. I can't do it.
just here. Up. Go ahead. that one. Let's go ahead and hit this one. Seems like Dugan is probably more mentally strong than he seems. So we'll just get through this.
Dogen. Just follow me.
Okay.
Alright, well. Jump over here, come over here, and cross to that. Did you make it? No. Well.
Onward and upward, soldier.
Seems like you can walk
Follow
here.
me. I'll help you through the mines.
Okay.
Seems like you can just kind of walk through them, so. Did that work?
Follow me. I'll help you through the mines.
Okay.
We'll just have to walk
Time to stand around when you're
and
dead.
see what I have to do. Do I have to do this very slowly? Or is this really just a case of...
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yes, you can, Dogen. Just follow me.
Okay.
Okay, so you really just have to reassure him in the middle of the puzzle and kind of hold his hand.
Onward and upward,
Although
soldier.
you're not actually holding his hand.
Look, Raz, I didn't explode at all.
Good hustle out there.
Hey, this is for helping me out. Okay, bye.
Like, this is a psychic arrowhead. Its raw energy will contribute value to your arrowheads in small amounts, but I think you'll find they add up over time. Okay.
Bye.
Alright, well. Am I supposed to be... Save your progress, just press that to save your journal. Yeah, and I thought this level would just be a simplistic thing, but it kind of feels like it's just gonna keep on going. No, there's only 4 more figments, so we are close to being done. We now know that the things we found were emotional baggages at the bottom, so there's like 3 more emotional baggages that must be in areas we just cannot access at all at this time. We have 19 arrowheads. We're already at Psy rank 2. We have 2 of 50 emotional baggages sorted. Alright, well. There's 2.
Didn't I
No one
mention
told me
the
to pack a
gopher
chute.
yet?
Did Washington have a chute when he crossed the Delaware?
Okay,
Just
let me
jump,
start over.
sissy!
First,
So now he
and then
wants...
we turned left.
We got everything, and now he
then we
wants us
turned
to
right,
jump
and then we turned a soft
out.
right, and then we turned a deep left, and then we took a side road. And then we stopped and asked for direction.
Is there like a climax to this story?
Didn't I mention the gopher yet?
So this guy just is going to keep on talking.
Okay, let me start. And then I gave Lady a bone.
Alright, let's do this. It's in the mind of somebody, so obviously jumping down. And see, that sound effect was too loud. And too early.
It's Raz!
Yay! Raz is here!
Yeah! Maybe you'll be able to beat this darn game. We can't do it.
Yeah, we're no good, and the coach won't open the gate until someone wins.
Yay, Raz! Just punch that to start.
Okay. So, once again, we need to go to the audio, I think, and turn down the sound effects some, because that was a loud FX thing. We'll just pick about there and try that. And then go back here. And let's see. Pigments of Imagination. How many did we need to collect? Because that was what I thought we had gotten all of those. Oh, there's a whole nother obstacle course. Wow. Okay, well that certainly explains why there would have been 3 emotional baggages that we wouldn't have found. And then we can see there are 3 cobwebs here and 79 more figments to find and 2 vaults. And honestly, I would say I am not super impressed so far. Like 45 minutes into of in-game timer and an hour and 15 minutes in recording time. It does seem like you are going to end up jumping around, getting a lot of collectibles if you want to be an OCD completionist. Perhaps at the moment it is probably possible that you could just get away with rushing through a game like this and just getting to the end. What will save this game, and what will probably save this game, if I was to guess, is the characters and stories, because Psychonauts certainly is a game that has been beloved and talked about, so something clearly saves it. But this is slow setup, a very slow starting. Ideally, a quick rethink just off the top of my head would have had you start the game doing this obstacle course, and every few seconds or every 10 minutes or so you have a flashback sequence that did that original cutscene and established what was going on. It would have been fine if it just dumped you into the game and didn't even explain who Raz is or what you're supposed to be doing. Just do the old amnesia trope. That way we could have been much more into the action. Or it could have been that entire first section, like I said, could have been just Raz breaking into the camp, not psychically in a military themed level, but just in a forest themed level. Of course, then the figments wouldn't make much sense at that point. But it could be that he is mentally recreating what he did in reality. You could do it that way. Anyways, I don't want to go any longer. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.